Off the fake, Prescott throwing, wide open, making the catch is CeeDee Lamb.
Is CeeDee Lamb the new Antonio Brown? It's tempting to think it's all about their playmaking on the field, but let's be real. This comparison goes deeper than stats and highlight reel catches. Antonio Brown didn't just make headlines for a spectacular play, he also stirred up plenty of drama both on and off the field. So when we ask if CeeDee Lamb is the new Antonio Brown, are we really talking about a potential troublemaker? Let's dig into it. Welcome to American Baller, where we focus on all things NFL. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell for future videos. Before we get into the controversy and comparison, let's give a little background on CeeDee Lamb, in case you aren't familiar with him. Drafted in the first round by the Cowboys in 2020, Lamb quickly became a fan favorite. He's known for his incredible hands, blazing speed, and his ability to make jaw-dropping catches that leave people talking for days. From the moment he stepped onto the field, it was clear that he had the makings of a top-tier wide receiver. In his rookie season, he tallied over 900 receiving yards, and by his second season, he had already surpassed 1,100 yards, cementing himself as one of the top talents in the league. Fast forward to the 2023 season, and Lamb really came into his own as the Cowboys' clear wide receiver one, especially after the departure of Amari Cooper. He's been a clutch performer in critical moments and built a great rapport with quarterback Dak Prescott. Simply put, CeeDee Lamb is a crucial part of the Cowboys' offense, but as often happens with young stars, he's recently found himself in the headlines for reasons that go beyond football. Now let's explore Lamb's situation. We need to remember what made Antonio Brown such a controversial figure. Yes, he was elite on the field, arguably one of the best wide receivers in NFL history during his peak, but somewhere along the way the off-field antics began overshadowing his achievements. From bizarre social media rants to his infamous helmet grievance with the Oakland Raiders and walking off the field mid-game with the Buccaneers, Brown's career spiraled out of control. Brown's downfall wasn't sudden. It was a slow unraveling of behavior that grew more erratic and unpredictable. Allegations of sexual assault, disputes with team management, and his public fallout with quarterbacks Ben Roethlisberger and Tom Brady became a part of his brand. By the end of his career, Brown wasn't just known for his football skills. He became the face of controversy in the NFL, someone whose raw talent couldn't fully overcome his off-field distractions. So why bring this up when discussing CeeDee Lamb? Has Lamb shown signs of following in those tumultuous footsteps, or are we unfairly projecting? The spotlight on CeeDee Lamb. First things first, CeeDee Lamb hasn't done anything even remotely close to the circus that followed Antonio Brown in the later stages of his career. But the modern NFL landscape is one where stardom comes with intense scrutiny. Everything a player does, from a cryptic social media post to a questionable late-night club appearance, can be blown out of proportion. In Lamb's case, the Cowboys are one of the most high-profile teams in the league, which naturally means that his every move is under the microscope. The question here isn't whether Lamb has messed up, but whether the media and fans will turn him into a controversy magnet the way Brown became one. Early signs of drama? While CeeDee Lamb has kept a relatively low profile off the field compared to Brown, there have been minor flashes of what some could misinterpret as potential red flags. For example, there was a viral clip during the 2020 NFL Draft where Lamb snatched his phone away from his girlfriend on live television. It became a huge meme, with people joking about how controlling he was or wondering what he had to hide. It was all lighthearted fun, but moments like this show just how quickly things can spiral for an NFL star in today's hyper-connected world. Then in 2022, Lamb's frustrations on the field during a few Cowboys games became visibly apparent. He was seen sulking after not getting targeted enough, and his body language raised eyebrows. Teammates and coaches downplayed it, attributing it to his competitive nature, but this is the type of behavior that can be blown up if things go sideways. In Antonio Brown's early days, similar complaints about not getting enough touches were also downplayed until they grew into full-on conflicts with coaches and quarterbacks. Week 3 of the 2024 season, there was yet another on-field burst-up in typical Antonio Brown style during what can be called a routine play, or at least should have been. Cowboys playing the Ravens, Dak Prescott fired a pass right into CeeDee's hands, but instead of catching it cleanly, the ball slipped right through, and to make matters worse, it bounced straight into the arms of a defender. The crowd gasped, and CeeDee just stood there for a second, visibly frustrated. It was one of those oh no moments that every receiver dreads. Lamb exploded on the sidelines and would later publicly apologize for his behavior. The Cowboys fell to the Ravens 25-28. To top it off, the play ended up on every sports blooper reel for weeks. Talk about embarrassing. Week 5 of 2024 against the Steelers, there was some visible tension between him and Dak after an interception. Prescott had thrown a pick and it looked like there was some miscommunication between the two. CeeDee was supposed to run a certain route, but things didn't go as planned. The camera zoomed in on both of them exchanging some heated words on the sideline. Fans speculated that Dak was frustrated with Lamb's route running, and Lamb was equally frustrated with the throw. In true professional fashion, though, they squashed the issue quickly. Both players later admitted it was just a momentary lapse in communication. So while Lamb's frustrations have been mild in the NFL, it only takes a few outbursts or even just one major incident for narratives to shift. Social media, a double-edged sword. One area where Lamb might want to be careful is social media. Antonio Brown's downfall was partially fueled by his chaotic and often erratic use of platforms like Twitter and Instagram. Whether it was airing private team issues, posting questionable videos, or picking fights with critics, Brown used social media like a flamethrower, burning bridges and stoking controversy. CeeDee Lamb, for now, seems to be treading a fine line. He's active on social media but hasn't crossed into the Antonio Brown zone of sharing too much or saying things that stir the pot. However, Lamb is still a young player in the age of instant gratification where one tweet can go viral and spark drama. As his fame grows, so will the temptation to use social media to speak his mind or respond to haters. The question is, will Lamb be able to resist the allure of using social media as a sounding board for frustrations, or will we eventually see a CeeDee Lamb rant go viral? Cowboys, a pressure cooker. Another key factor to consider is that Lamb plays for the Dallas Cowboys, a team that lives under constant media scrutiny. The Cowboys aren't just any NFL team, they're America's team, and with that comes a higher level of visibility. For better or worse, Cowboys players are always in the news, and there's a certain pressure that comes with wearing the star on your helmet. Antonio Brown had his own battles with the media, especially during his time with the Pittsburgh Steelers, another high-profile organization. The constant attention may have contributed to his eventual breakdown. Will the same happen to Lamb? As Lamb becomes the face of the Cowboys offense, the media will keep looking for cracks in his personality or performance. If the team struggles or if he has a few down games, will he handle the pressure with grace, or will he start to feel the weight of the spotlight and act out? The media's role. As with any star athlete, media attention has only added to the controversy. Every game, every comment, every sideline expression is put under the microscope. Even Lamb's social media activity has been scrutinized. Recently, he liked a series of tweets that criticized the Cowboys' offensive play calling, and people immediately jumped to conclusions. In today's world, liking a tweet isn't just a casual act. It's often seen as a statement. Fans and analysts began speculating that Lamb was unhappy with the way the offense was being run or frustrated with how he was being used. Lamb later clarified that there was no deeper meaning behind his likes, but by then, the story had already gained momentum. Lamb's on-field performance has been under scrutiny this season. Sure, he's had some exceptional games, but there have also been stretches where he hasn't been as dominant as people expected him to be. When you're labeled as one of the NFL's best, fans and analysts are quick to criticize if they think you aren't living up to the hype. There have been games where Lamb has put up impressive numbers, but then there are those where he's been surprisingly quiet. People are asking questions. Is he getting open enough? Is he adjusting when defenses double team him? These are just a few of the critiques that have been thrown his way. Adding to the drama, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones and head coach Mike McCarthy have made public comments suggesting that they want Lamb to step up and take on more leadership responsibilities. In a team that consistently has high expectations, any perceived shortcomings are going to be blown out of proportion. Jones, never one to shy away from sharing his thoughts, recently mentioned in a radio interview that he expects Lamb to make more big plays. The comments weren't necessarily harsh, but they did come at a time when the Cowboys' offense hasn't exactly been lighting up the scoreboard. People are starting to wonder if this is Jones's way of putting pressure on Lamb to rise to the occasion. There's also the contract situation. Right now, Lamb is still on his rookie deal, but he's eligible for a contract extension soon. The NFL wide receiver market has skyrocketed in recent years, and Lamb is likely going to command top-tier money. With big contracts come even bigger expectations, and it seems like some of the recent scrutiny is tied to these looming negotiations. The Cowboys are no strangers to dishing out massive contracts. Just look at Dak Prescott. But they're also smart enough to weigh their options carefully, especially with how much money's on the table. And then there are the whispers about the locker room dynamics. While nothing major has come out publicly, there have been hints that things might not be 100% harmonious between Lamb and certain players or coaches. Whether it's a simple miscommunication or something deeper, no one can say for sure. What is clear though is that Lamb is expected to be a leader, and some feel that he hasn't fully embraced that role just yet. Staying grounded versus cracking under pressure. It's worth mentioning that Lamb doesn't have the same track record of personal issues that Brown had even early in his career. By all accounts, Lamb is grounded and focused on football. But if there's one thing we've learned from Antonio Brown, it's that fame and pressure can change people. One key difference is that Brown's off-field issues started coming to light before his NFL stardom fully blossomed. While Lamb has largely avoided personal scandals, Brown was dealing with locker room tensions and publicized drama with the Steelers by the time he hit his prime. Lamb so far has maintained strong relationships with his teammates and coaching staff, which is a good sign. However, football careers are long, and people change over time. Brown wasn't always the controversial figure he became later in his career. The real test for CeeDee Lamb will be how he handles things when adversity hits, when he's injured, when the Cowboys miss the playoffs, or when contract negotiations get messy. So, is he really the new Antonio Brown? At the moment, no. CeeDee Lamb is not the new Antonio Brown, at least not in the controversial sense. He's an elite wide receiver with immense talent and the potential to be one of the best in the league. But the comparison isn't entirely outlandish if we're thinking about how NFL stardom, social media, and the pressure of being a high-profile player can quickly turn the tide on someone's reputation. Lamb has the tools to stay grounded and avoid the same fate as Brown, but fame is a fickle thing, and NFL history is littered with players who seemed untouchable until they weren't. Only time will tell if CeeDee Lamb stays on his current path or if the intense scrutiny of being the next big thing in Dallas starts to wear on him. For now though, Cowboys fans can rest easy knowing that Lamb's focus is squarely on the field. But we've all seen how quickly things can change in the NFL, especially when you're in the spotlight. And that's the latest on CeeDee Lamb and his connections to Antonio Brown. What do you think? Is this just a bump in the road for the star wide receiver, or are bigger issues brewing in Dallas? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for tuning in to American Baller. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell for future videos.